just a few days ago, we got new unemployment numbers, 9.5%, and that was some good news. However, we're still below the national average. And it could mean that people are running out of benefits, or they've given up hope and stopped looking for work, and so they don't show up in those numbers. We do know that there are about 300,000 people still out of work. That's about 1 in 10 of every Hoosier. We also know that 1 in 5 Hoosiers are unemployed or underemployed, which is a very significant number. Personal income in Indiana has gone down in the last couple of years, from 90 cents for every dollar that is made at the national level to 85 cents, and medium income has gone down for Hoosiers about $4,000 just in the last few years. $4,000 below the national average. So our concern, and the concern we want to raise, is that even though the legislative session unbelievably is almost a fourth through its term, we still have not heard any significant jobs bills in the Senate. I don't know of any in the House, but that doesn't mean that they haven't done it. But there's still a lot of work to do when it comes to putting people back to work. It seems to me that in addition to the budget, that job number one for this legislative session should be all about putting Hoosiers back to work. I think yesterday in the House, the Interim Study Committee on Economic Development gave a report, and we had that report a few months ago, and we've kind of used it to put together some ideas that we think would stimulate growth, particularly in the small business sector. And so we've asked today, we sent a memo as a caucus to request committee hearings for the 4 bills that we believe are most significant, from Senator Mike Young, who is the chairman of the Commerce and Economic Development Committee, where all 4 of those bills were assigned. He hasn't said no, but he hasn't said yes either, so we're trying to encourage him to at least give the bills a hearing so we can talk about some of these things that we think are very important. I'm going to just mention very briefly, and I think you have summaries of the bills that we're talking about, but I just want to mention, first of all, Senate Bill 583 that was introduced by Senator Taylor has to do with expanding an existing tax credit that right now is only available to very large corporations, and we'd like to expand it and open that tax credit up some to make it available to small businesses. And it's a tax credit that will encourage them to hire employees. It helps reduce the cost of new employees for those businesses. We also have Senate Bill 369 that Senator Mervan introduced, which would require any state contracts with any businesses that it would require those businesses to hire Hoosiers first. 80% of the people that work on those contracts would, under this legislation, be required to be Indiana residents. A third bill is Senate Bill 348 that was introduced by Senator Hume. That is an entirely new concept that we're calling a small business concierge team, just because we think that's really a cute name. But it really is a team of people from various departments in state government who could work together to be advocates for a small business or a new startup, entrepreneurs, so to cut through the red tape of state government, fast-track permits and licensing, help them make connections for funding possibilities and financing, and to kind of help them make their way through the mass of federal and state regulation, reducing paperwork and so on. And finally, Senate Bill 435, also introduced by Senator Hume, it is a little bit of history that maybe only Mike Smith in this room will remember. Many years ago, we used to have an entity in state government called the Sunset Evaluation Committee. And the Sunset Evaluation Committee, when I was a new legislator, I used to serve on it every year. It was the best learning tool for legislators because every year we took one department of state government and we studied it all summer long in depth. Every program studied the efficiencies and competencies, the number of people they served, and how the programs could be made better. In some cases, eliminate programs. And what we'd like to do is start that Sunset Evaluation Committee up again and begin with the IEDC. Since Mitch Robe has said on a number of occasions that there really is only one program, and that's the EDGE tax credit, that is successful in the state of Indiana. We're spending quite a bit of money in the budget on the IEDC, and so maybe that's a good place to start. And any programs that aren't working, we could then move that money into what we're calling a capital access fund for small businesses. That fund has been available, has been placed in the IEDC, but it hasn't been funded for many years because no one was paying any attention to it. And so what we'd like to do is identify the programs that aren't working and move the money that has been appropriated for those programs into that capital access fund. Small businesses have told us over and over again that one of the main problems they have is in finding financing in the open market. And finally, for jobs right now, jobs today, we will be later today sending another letter to the governor's office asking to please, and I know I sound like Moses, but I'm going to say it again, please let our projects go. We have 5 shovel-ready projects, university projects, that have been in the pipeline, were approved in the budget bill of 2009. They're ready to go. We can allow those projects to go forward. They're bonding projects. The interest rate is quite low right now, the lowest in history. And the construction costs are also at an all-time low. We can save money by doing these projects now, save taxpayer dollars. No expense to the state whatsoever for several years until the project is completed and up and going. And we know that those 5 projects alone will put 3,000 people to work tomorrow, and will create about $100 million in personal income that can be spent in our communities, which is the most important place for them to go. So we're asking for committee hearings on the 4 bills. We're asking the governor once again to reconsider his decision to withhold construction projects, which we believe are important not only for the future of our universities, for research, for student participation, but also to put people to work immediately.